This conference will now be recorded.
Assessment cycle and distribution cycle. And there are transaction codes with U series and V series. 3 digits in the configuration transactions are same. So first one you will have KS1 until KS5. Here also same. Which one is U series? Which one is V series?
Assessment is sir U
Assessment is
series.
Assessment is U or V?
U.
KSU1 to KSU5 for assessment cycle. Distribution cycle KSV1 till KSV5. Correct? Assessment cycle KSU1 to KSU5. Distribution KSV1 to KSV5. First, to understand this properly, we need to perform distribution cycle. Okay, let us run distribution cycle initially so that it will be easy for us to understand how cost is moving from your original cost center to the respective receiver cost centers. Then it will be easy for us to understand assessment cycle using secondary cost element. Before we do it, let's try to list out the business requirement. Business requirement. Our business requirement, let's say whatever we have written, let me put the same thing in the business requirement. Which cost center we were talking about? Transportation cost center. Transportation cost center cost to be distributed to the below cost centers. The requirement is transportation cost center cost to be distributed to the below cost centers. Let me put these cost centers. Copy this. These are the cost centers. Now we have different options on what basis you want to move the cost. Below cost centers at the respective percentages. Now percentages also we have already listed. Let me put the same thing here. These are the percentages. Now expense, let us take any expense, but before that let me take the same expenses that we have taken. Copy this. Below expenses are part of transportation cost. That's it. Now is the requirement clear? Transportation department cost to be distributed to the below cost centers at the respective percentages. We have given the different cost centers to which we want to settle the cost and on what rate you want to settle the cost. In short, you have got the name of cost centers to be created. First point that you need to do is before you start your distribution cycle configuration, you need to have master data. What master records are needed?
Cost center master data.
Let me put configuration prerequisites. Before we set up the configuration, whatever we need, let us list out. Point number 1, cost center master. Sorry. Point number 2, GL master.
Master.
Point number 3, cost elements. You need point number 4, cost center groups. Point number 5, cost element group. How many prerequisites we have? 5. Where do you create cost center master?
S01.
KS01. GL master.
FS00.
FS00. Cost element master. In which system are we configuring this, ECC or S4HANA?
S4HANA.
In S4HANA, where do we create cost element?
0.
FS00.
FS00.
Correct. In ECC, where do you create cost element?
In SIVO controlling area.
T code.
KA01.
KA01. In ECC, you will be creating a cost element in KA01 transaction. Cost center group.
KSH1.
KSH1. KSH1. Cost element group.
KAH1.
KAH1. These are the transaction codes to be used for creating master data before we initiate configuration for distribution cycle. First, let us create this cost center master. Before we create cost center master, we have to understand how many cost centers we need. How many cost centers do we need in total? These are 8 cost centers plus transportation cost center. Total 9 cost centers. Correct? You need a total 9 cost centers to be created. So what we will do, let us go to cost center creation screen. Let me log into system. (1909). KS01. Now, whenever you are on the cost center creation screen or any screen where you are performing any CO related activity, controlling area sometimes will be defaulted, cannot be editable. Normally, what will happen when you are working in any project, you will be working for the same client. For same client, there will be same or one controlling area. There is no point or there is no need requirement for changing controlling area when you are in any project. But when you are practicing, you may be using different controlling areas, or your ID may be used by different people. Whatever the controlling area used recently, that controlling area is defaulted. It is your requirement to change the different controlling area, for which there are two options. Option number 1, you can go to on the menu bar extras, you will find set controlling area. You can click on this set controlling area. You will get a pop-up, update your controlling area. If you are going to work on the same controlling area, you want to default this controlling area for your user ID, put your controlling area, click on save. so that whenever you log in with your user ID, by default, this controlling area will be defaulted. If you want, you have to change manually. Otherwise, system always takes the recently used controlling area as default cost controlling area. Point number one, from extras you have to do it. Point number two, there is another transaction code to set controlling area. Anybody know the T code?
OKKS.
OKKS. Now let me put this controlling area T code. Set CO area is OKKS. This is in general transaction code to be remembered for CO point of view. So let me open OKKS. This will give the same pop-up. Our controlling area is del group, which is DEGR. Let me put DEGR and then hit enter. Nothing will come on the screen, but when you open any controlling area related transactions, you will get your CO area defaulted. Let me go to KS01 now. Earlier it was something related NEST, but now it has been updated to DEGR. Here you need to create the cost center. We need to create 9 cost center. Out of 9 cost centers, 1 cost center is called as sender cost center. The remaining 8 cost centers are called as receiver cost centers. Correct?
Yes, sir.
This transportation department or transportation cost center is called as sender cost center. The remaining from finance until quality check are called as receiver cost center. First, let me create sender cost center. I'm not using any naming convention since we are using it only for the testing purpose. I will put a different name. Since we are using distribution cycle, I will put DC. I'll put DC representing a distribution cycle. DC sender or DC sender CC. Clear? I'll call it as distribution cycle sender cost center, or I'll put SEN CC. DC representing distribution, SEN sender, CC representing cost center. Clear? Name why we are putting like this?
Yes, sir.
To make it easy to understand, we are writing this code so that you can easily connect to what is happening in the system. Valid from, I'll put current fiscal year start date 01/01/2023. Enter. Here I'll put the same distribution cycle sender cost center. Same thing I'll put here. You can replace any name, transportation department, whatever you want, or simply I'll put DC sender transportation department. Clear? Person responsible, I'm not giving. User responsible, I'll put DC1. Cost center category, as of now you can pick whatever the category that you want. Since this is transportation related, I will be proceeding with logistics. I'll select logistics. Hierarchy area, you can pick any one. I'll take logistics. Company code is DEIN. Profit center DEIN 01.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in case of multiple profit center, we will define common profit center here.
Yes.
Okay.
and I am going to save this cost center. First cost center has been saved. I'll copy this cost center. I'll put this cost center code here. Somewhere here I'll put. Here I'll put receiver cost centers. These are our receiver cost centers. This is percentage. This is cost center code. Now here I'll put sender cost center, percentage, and cost center code. Sender cost center will put transportation, department. We are going to send 100% value. Cost center code is this one. This is your sender information. Let me put a different color to this. And down below, let us create the receiver cost centers. Now let us create the receiver cost center. The way you created sender cost center, in the similar way you will be creating receiver cost centers. Now for the receiver, I'll put DC REC1, distribution cycle receiver cost center 1. I am going to copy this. I don't want to create every time all the information. I'll simply click on copy from the existing cost center, reference cost center I am giving. What system will do, whatever the information is already available in the reference cost center, the same information as it is will get copied. Whatever you want to amend, only those fields you can amend. Otherwise, you can keep the same values from the previous cost center. Let me click on enter. It has copied all the information as it is. What I'll do, I'll put DC receiver 1. Here I'll put finance department. Same thing, DC receiver 1, finance department. This and all fine. I'll click on save. This has got nothing to do with your master record. You can create whatever you want according to the cost center requirement. For us to execute this scenario, we only need the cost center master. Clear? Do not focus on this, why we are creating only logistics. Understood? You can create this cost center master under any parameters, any criteria according to your requirement. Currently, to create at faster level, I am using whatever the cost center that is already created with previous parameters. Let me click on save this. And I'll put this cost center code here. Next one, these are all the receivers and I am going to copy from this. It will be cost center number 2 and this is copied from receiver 1. Clear this one? Any confusion now how I am creating the cost centers?
The reference to other cost center, we are creating the
right. Instead of typing everything manually, I am simply copying from existing cost center. That's it. I'll just put the descriptions and this will be 2, receiver 2, receiver 2. Save it. Receiver 2 I'll put here. Next one will be 3. Enter. Create. Description I'll update as 3. This will be sales department. I'll put sales department. Sales department. Save it. Next one, this will be 3. Next one will be purchase department. I'll make it 4. Inside I'll change the receiver number 4. Here also receiver number 4. This is your purchase department. Purchase department. Purchase department. Save this. 4 is created. Next one is 5, HR department. I'll just update the number as 5. In the description also I will update number to be 5. And then this was HR department. I'll put HR department, save it. 5 is now created. Put the code here. Next one, logistics department. This will be 6. I'll update the receiver number 6. I'll copy the description, logistics department. Copy this, put this here, save it. Cost center number 6. Next one, production department. This will be 7. I'll put this here. This number will be 7. This is your production department. Save it. Copy this number 7. Update it here. Last one is your quality check department. This will be 8. I'll put this 8. This will be 8. Quality check department. Copy this, put this here. Now all the cost center master records have been created. Any question on this cost center master?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, previously we created this department, all this department. Right now we created. Then how we do, sir? Because previously we created as for normally means uh, uh, by giving naming convention, and uh, right now here we change all the like DC RCC1, and how we do, sir?
So here I am creating like this only for the practice purpose or only for the testing purpose for the distribution cycle. I am not touching the original cost centers that are used. I am only creating this master records for the purpose of testing distribution cycle only. That is why I am not following the actual naming convention that we have used for our company code.
Sir, if previously we created, then we created only transport department, because transport department we not created at that time. Only we need to create transport department.
Correct.
Okay, sir.
Okay, we are creating new ones just to ensure that the fresh postings will take place in your cost center. When you pull out the reports, when you do different things, it is easy for us to understand calculation part.
Sir, if we already created, then receiver cost center now not required to create right now.
Yes, correct.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Now cost center masters have been created. So this is created, or this is okay now. Next one is GL master. We need how many GL masters? Here I'll put
6.
GL and cost element master. GL slash cost element code. This is another set. If you're not talking, you can be on mute, please. FS00. DEIN is our company code. Since these are all expenses, all these expenses will have to be created as cost element. For now, what I am going to do, I am creating all these GL accounts under any one expense related category. In short, any one expense related group. But when you're actually in a project, each GL account will be created in the respective group. Currently, we are not looking at the respective group. If you look at the respective group, we will deviate from the concept. For that, what I am going to do, I will be creating all the GL accounts in any one of the groups. First one is your driver salary. Let me select any one group. Let's say I'll select something miscellaneous expenses. Under miscellaneous, I am creating. This is the existing GL account number. I'll copy this. I'll make it GL account number 1. This will be primary cost element. This will be the account group 4480. First one GL name will be driver salary. Here I'll put DC followed by driver salary. Distribution cycle driver salary. Clear? I am writing DC just to differentiate that this GL account is created for the purpose of distribution cycle. Make sure this is your primary cost element. Under the control data, cost element category will be 1. And create bank interest, field status can be G001. Proceed to save this. There is no change in the master data creation. The way you create GL, the way you create cost center, it is the same. This is your GL account number. Next one, fuel expenses. Let me copy this code, fuel expenses. I'll copy 1 and then I'll make it 2. Type description, fuel expenses, control data and create bank interest are the same. I'm not updating anything. Let me straight away save this. GL account number 2. Similarly, I'll copy 2. I'll make it 3. For account number 3, this will be repairs and maintenance. Copy this. DC repairs and maintenance. DC repairs and maintenance. You're able to follow, right, how I'm creating the GL masters? 3,
Yes,
I'll make it 4. The next GL account that we will be needing is insurance. Copy insurance, update the GL master, distribution cycle, insurance. Save it. Remaining all parameters are same. That is why I'm not updating for each and every GL account. After 4, let's create 5. For 5, it will be fines. Go to SAP, update this description as fines. Save it. Last one will be GL account number 6. For GL account number 6, description is vehicle rentals. Copy this description, update it here. Vehicle rentals, save it. Now let me drag the GL account numbers 1 until 6. Correct? These are the GL account numbers that we have utilized. Clear? With the creation of cost center and cost element GL account. Any questions on this master data creation? Clear, right? On what basis we have created, how you have created the cost center, cost element, GL account. Now, since we are on S4HANA, GL account and cost element are created in single screen. Next one, cost center group, cost element group. This I will create once we are inside the distribution cycle config. After this configuration prerequisite, let me put Configuration steps. What is the first configuration step for distribution cycle? Is it V series or U series?
U series.
V
U or
series.
V? This is V series. KSV1 for your distribution cycle creation. Let's open KSV1 transaction code. Go to SAP, come back, open KSV1. When you open KSV1, you get create actual distribution cycle. Whenever you get something called specifically mentioning about actual, always remember wherever you have actual, you have something called planned. You can perform planned distribution cycle also. You can perform actual distribution cycle also. Currently what we are doing is actual distribution cycle. Once we understand this, I will give you assignment. I'll give you a detailed requirement how to perform planned distribution cycle. Controlling area, make sure it is your controlling area, and the distribution cycle code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maximum you can use 6-digit code for distribution cycle. What I'll do, I'll put DC001. I am going to create DC001 distribution cycle 001. Start date is very important. You should always keep the current fiscal year starting date as the distribution cycle start date. 01, 01, 20, 23 is the start date. We are not copying it from any of the existing cycle. So ignore the copy from or reference information. Only input controlling area, distribution cycle code and start date. Click on enter. When you click on enter, this is what you get. One point that you need to notice here is, and this is a common mistake which most of us will do in the real environment, whenever you put distribution cycle start date, by default your distribution cycle is valid for 1 year. By default your distribution cycle is valid for 1 year. If you look at this, start date is what you have manually given in the initial screen. End date, this is by default system is taking this current year ending date, which is 31/12/2023. According to this setting, if you save the setting as it is, if you move the setting to the production system, after 31st December 2023, when you run the distribution cycle in next month, which is Jan 2024, this will not work. In January 2024, this will not work for the reason this is valid until 31st December 2023. This is one point that you have to remember. Even when you are configuring, sometimes we will forget this. First thing that you should do is you need to update validity end date. Next one, text. I'll put transportation cost distribution cycle. Clear? I'm giving transportation cost distribution cycle. The other settings whatever you have, we normally do not use any of them. The first one that you will be using here is iterative. Right side from the field groups you will be using object currency. Why we use all this I will explain later on. First let us do the configuration, execute the cycle, understand the numbers. Once you create the config, execute the cycle, understand the financial calculations postings, then we will be focusing on what will happen if you take this, what will happen if you take this. By default we are going ahead with object currency only. Click on save. First thing what I did, I saved it. The reason why I saved immediately is sometimes when you're practicing, server may go down. So that I avoid creating once again, I am saving whenever the new additional information is added. I have saved this distribution cycle. Remember, in one distribution cycle, you can have multiple segment. When I say multiple segment, you can create only one distribution cycle. You can perform multiple distributions. Each distribution is called as one segment. Currently, we have no segments in this distribution cycle. We have only created a cycle. We have given validity period. Now attach a segment. Top you will find something called attach segment. Click on the attach segment. When you click on attach segment, you will find under this cycle another segment name. Here I'll put same thing I'm going to put here, and same description I'm going to use. If you are using this for different purposes, you can put the code and the segment name according to the requirement. Once you give this, make sure you have different tabs at the bottom. Now to input all the different tabs, you have to be very clear with your requirement. You have to be very clear with your requirement, from which cost center to which cost center you are moving, on what percentages you are moving. If you are not clear with this, it is not practically possible to understand logically what system will do in your distribution cycle. First thing, what system is asking? It is asking us to input segment header. This is your segment header. This is your segment name DC001, transportation cost distribution cycle. Descriptions, codes you can change according to your requirement. First one, in the segment header you have sender values. Which value you want to send, whether you want to send posted amount, whether you want to send fixed amount, or you want to send fixed rate. Majoritarily we will be using posted amount. What is posted amount, what is fixed amount, what is fixed rate, I will explain once we run one cycle. Only after seeing one cycle, only after understanding first cycle, it is possible for us to understand the different functionalities within distribution cycle. First, standard, we will proceed with posted amount. Even in real time, you will be working with posted amount majoritarily. Next one, share in percentage. Whether you want to send the complete amount that you have posted, or you want to send, or you want to settle partial amount. Yesterday we decided, or we discussed, there are three ways. Option number one, you can send the total amount that you have, which is your 100%. Option number two, you can send more than 100%, which is above the actual amount. Option number three, you can send the less than 100%, which is below the actual amount. Out of these three, yesterday we discussed, only two are possible scenarios. Third one, or one scenario, is not possible. Which is not possible? 100% is not possible, or above 100 is not possible, or below 100 is not possible.
Above
Above
100.
100.
Above 100% is not possible for settlement. What I will do, I'll try to put 100. Let me hit enter. When I hit enter, system will do the initial check or initial validation. If there are no messages on the screen after hitting enter, that represents 100% is a valid number, or 100% is accepted. Now let me put 100 to 70. If I press enter, at 70 also there is no message coming, which means below 100 also acceptable number. Let me put above 100. Let's say I'll put 170. The moment I put 170, there is a message which is coming on my screen as a pop-up. It is telling, do not enter over 100% for the sender. According to this message, it is very clear, beyond 100% we cannot settle. Correct?
Yes, sir.
According to this message, it is very clear, beyond 100% you cannot settle. Either 100% amount or up to 100%. Up to 100%, when I say, I mean any percentage up to 99. I can settle 50%, 10%, 30%, 80, 90, anything. Let us go ahead with 100% amount. Sometimes this will get slower, that is why I am saving whatever information I am adding in between. Now while this gets loaded, after the 100% value, you have another radio button called actual value, plan value. As we discussed, you have 2 points. Option number 1, actual. Option number 2, planned values. Whether you want to settle the actual amounts that are posted, or planned amounts that you have posted. Currently we are talking about planned values or actual values.
Actual value.
Currently we are talking about actual value. We need to make sure that the radio button is set up at actual value. Let me try to log in once again. It's working. Now it has to be up. Okay, I need to select the radio button actual values. Now this sender details portion, is it clear? You are trying to settle the amount whatever you have posted actually to the cost center, and whatever the amount you posted, from the posted amount you want to take complete amount, which means 100% amount. 100% actual amount that is posted in your cost center will be considered. Next one is your receiver tracing factor. In the receiver tracing factor, how do you want to do it? If I open the drop down, you have different options. If I open the drop down, I have different options. One thing is my variable portion. The other one is fixed amount, fixed percentage, fixed portion. If you look at your requirement, what are we doing? On what basis?
Percentage.
Percentage.
We are doing based on percentage. Now, when you're talking about based on percentage, first of all, when you're talking about distribution cycle, this is a continuation, or this is a continuous activity on a monthly basis. Every month you will have to allocate, every month you will have to distribute this cost. You're talking about initial setup, which means I am talking about current month, June. In June, let's say I want to settle at 10% for first cost center, 5%, 20, and so on. What about next month? Do you want to settle at the same percentage next month, or you want to change the percentage? Accordingly, you have to set up the distribution cycle. Right? Now, let us assume that every month you are going to settle on the same percentage. If you are going to settle every month on the same percentage, you are going to select which method? If it is same percentage every month,
Fixed
Fixed
percentage.
percentage.
it will be fixed percentage. It will be fixed percentage. The moment you put fixed percentage, the remaining options are eliminated or ruled out. Right? The moment you selected fixed percentage, there is no confusion. It is straightforward. Every month it is the same. Whereas if I select fixed amount, in this case also this is ruled out. If I select fixed portion, here also this is ruled out. If I select variable portion, if I select variable portion, that is where I am getting additional things. Variable portion, that is where I am getting additional thing. On what basis you want to do it? If you want to do it based on statistical key figure, or you want to do actual cost, planned cost, whatever it is. So this one I will explain with another example where you will be using this variable portion. Currently, let us proceed with fixed percentage. If you understand how fixed percentage is working, the same logic is applicable for fixed amount or fixed portion. Let us select fixed percentage. On this screen, whatever we have given, is it clear?
Sir,
Yes,
sir, in case if our that percentage will change each and every month, in that case, we need to select variable portion.
variable portion, correct.
Okay, sir.
Okay, clear, right? The first segment header. Once this is clear, let us go to the next tab, sender receiver details. Let me click on the second tab. In this, you have something called sender. Your sender can be cost center or functional area or cost element or combination of this. Your sender can be either cost center, functional area, cost element independently, or these three or any of these two at commonly. Currently, our requirement is to ensure that we will be settling only the selected 5 expenses from your transportation cost center, correct? You want to settle these expenses. We want to settle these 6 expenses posted to this cost center. Am I correct? Is this what our requirement?
Yes, sir.
When you want system to settle the amount, on what basis system has to settle? How will system know how much amount to be settled? From where the amount has to be taken and to where this amount has to be settled. For that you need to clearly indicate from where you have to take the amount and to where you have to settle the amount. First you have to put the sender information. Now if I look at the sender information, in sender what do you have? In sender what do you have?
For
Cost center.
Cost
transportation,
center.
cost center,
In sender you have
transport.
cost center. How many cost centers you have in sender?
One.
Only one
One.
One cost
transportation.
center. Is there any rule that there should be only one cost center in the sender or there can be multiple?
Can be multiples.
Right? Your sender cost centers can be one or
Or
it can be multiple.
multiple.
Right? Depending on the business requirement, there may be one cost center in your sender, there may be multiple cost centers in the sender. Currently we are proceeding with single cost center. Currently we are proceeding with single cost center, but later on I might add additional cost center. Possible or not possible?
Possible.
Possible.
Possible, sir.
I want to keep everything exactly the same, but the only requirement is I am adding one more cost center. Please consider this cost center also. Settle these two cost center values to the same departments on the same percentage. I am not changing everything. I am just adding additional cost center. Now this is possible, which means addition of cost center or deletion of cost center from your distribution cycle is quite common. Clear? You can add additional cost center, you can remove the existing cost center from your distribution cycle cost center list. If you know that this is a quite common practice in any requirement, in any business scenario, you have two options while creating it. Option number one, you can input cost center code directly here. Let's say I will put this cost center code directly here. Okay, I'll put the cost center code directly here. When I put the cost center code, is this cost center grayed out or editable once I put this?
Grayed out.
It is grayed out. Later on, if I want to add additional cost center, what I need to do, I need to come to this screen on change mode. Agree? Later on, if I have any requirement to modify the cost center, do I need to come to the same screen on the change mode or not?
Yes.
Clear what I'm talking about? Adding additional cost center in future. I need to come to the same screen on the change mode. Correct? Now, whatever you are doing, is this called master data or is this called configuration data?
This is called master data.
Whatever we are doing currently, is this called master data or configuration data? What is this
Master
called?
data, sir. Master data, sir.
Let me try to
Configuration,
save
sir.
it. So what I'll do, before I do it, I'll simply put one cost element and I'll try to save it. Let me come back because I want you to come out of that state where you are confused whether this is config or master data. When I'm trying to save, this is what I'm getting. When I get this, what is this called? Config or master?
Configuration.
Right? Whatever we are doing is now called as configuration. Anything that you are doing in configuration, your configuration is performed in which client? Development, quality, production.
Development.
Your configuration is done in development, and your user will use the distribution cycle in development, quality, production. Where is this used?
Production.
This will be used in the production system. Correct. Now if we go to the first segment, If you go to the sender receiver data, let's say I am keeping only one cost center here. Later on, there is a requirement to change the cost center or to update the cost center. If I maintain the cost center here, later on if I want to change it, is this part of configuration change or master data change?
Configuration.
Configuration change. Let's say a simple change that my client is telling, please add the cost center DE sender CC2, DE sender CC1. We are no longer using this cost center. This cost center has been replaced by CC1. Please update this cost center. Now, for updating cost center CC to CC1, is it a simple task or a complicated task? In general,
Simple.
it's a simple task, right? You just need to replace the cost center with a new cost center. Now, it has got two ways of doing it. If you are maintaining your distribution cycle like this, wherein I am updating the cost center manually, if I need to make any correction to it, I will have to do the configuration related change, which means I need to change the cost center in development system. I need to test it in development system. Then I need to move this configuration to quality system. I need to test in quality system. After that, I have to move it to production system, for which I need to prepare a configuration document. I need to prepare unit testing document. I need to perform UAT. I need to get the UAT sign off, and then I have to move it to production. Is this big long story is required for a simple configuration change? Sorry, simple change
Yes.
of updating the config? It is not relevant. Why not relevant? You have additional option here. Either you can maintain cost center individual master record, or you can update cost center group. At the last, you have something called group here, right?
Yes,
If
sir.
you maintain your cost centers in the group, to make any modifications in your cost center list, you do not have to touch your configuration. If I update group here, I do not have to touch my configuration. If I want to add a cost center, if I want to remove a cost center, I can play the way I want directly in the production system as an end user. I can play with this as an end user if I maintain group. If I do not maintain the group, as an end user, I have to request for any correction to the consultant. Okay. Now these cost centers are subject to change frequently. These cost centers are subject to change frequently. For any reason, business might add additional cost centers. For any reason, business might remove existing cost centers. Correct? There may be changes. So for these kind of changes, you have to create the configurations as much flexible as possible. Now, if you update a group, this will be a flexible configuration which can be directly amended directly by the user in production system. So now tell me, should we update cost center as from to value or group? Which one
Group.
is ideal? Which one is
On group
recommended?
basis.
You'll have to create this based on the group. Now, to create a group, first we need to create the cost center group. To create cost center group, you have additional transaction code called KSH1. Correct? KSH1 is where you will be creating cost center group. Copy this transaction code, open another window, go to KSH1, create a cost center group. You can put anything here. So what I'll put DC distribution cycle sender GR1 or sender CC1. Clear? DC I am telling us distribution cycle, SEN I am talking about sender, CC cost center 1. Enter. Clear? I'll put distribution cycle sender cost centers. Clear? You can put any description of your choice. And this is a master data to be created in development system, quality system, production system separately. This cost center group is one of your cutover activity list. In any project you have cutover activities. This is your cutover activity list. Once you put this, select your group, click on insert cost center. Select the group, which means you have to tick this group, click on insert cost center, and here you need to put the cost center. Our cost center is this. This is the cost center code. Select this and put this here, press enter. Then click on save. Sometimes there may be a requirement to delete the cost center. Addition is very simple. Sometimes you may want to remove the cost center from here. For removing, you cannot do a backspace here. It will not delete just like that. To remove the cost center from any group, this logic is applicable for all your groups: cost center, profit center, cost element, whatever. Select the one where you want to delete it. Top you have an option called this select. You have to select this, whatever the value that you want to remove it. Click on select icon first, F9 or select. When you click on this, you will see this has been selected. The color will get updated. Then you have an option here called remove. Clear? If you want to delete it, this is how you have to delete it. Okay. Now to add it, input the same cost center code once again, press enter, save it. Now in the distribution cycle, what you are going to do, you are going to update this cost center group name. Copy this group, go to this and input the group here. When you input the group, what system is going to do? It is going to consider the cost centers that are updated in this group. Whatever the cost centers are maintained in this group, all these cost centers are automatically picked up in your distribution cycle. If you want to add or if you want to modify, you have to play with this cost center group. Okay. This is one thing. Next one, in this cost center, you have to settle something. Settlement is always based on the cost. Cost is always booked in your GL account, in short cost element, correct? In this cost center, you want to settle, but what cost from this cost center you want to settle? I can book any expense in a cost center, am I correct? You can book any expense in the cost center, which means any GL account can be used for posting an amount to the cost center. From this cost center, what expenses do you want to settle? That expense related GL account, in short expense related cost element, you have to declare. For that also same logic. If you want to maintain all the expenses, in this cost center, you can simply put all the P&L related GL account range. All your P&L related GL account range, but that is strictly not recommended. You should always go ahead with the group. Here also for the cost element, you will be creating a cost element group. For cost element group, what is the transaction code? What is the transaction for cost element group? KAH1. Go to KAH1, which will open up cost element group. Same way you will be creating cost element group exactly similar to cost center group. I'll put something like this: distribution cycle, sender, CE1, cost element 1. Clear? DC, distribution cycle, SEN, sender, CE, cost element 1. I'll put distribution cycle, sender, cost elements. Here also same thing, we need to add GL accounts. To add GL account, in short, to add cost element, select the group, click on insert cost element. When you click on insert cost element, you will get a range like this. Go to the GL master, in short expenses that we created, copy this expense, put this here. If you have a range, you can put from number to number. Since we have created a range, I am giving from number 1 to number 6. When I hit enter, all the GL account range will get displayed here. After this, click on save. Okay, cost element group has been saved. Select this cost element group code. Control Y. Select the cost element group. Come to this configuration. Update this in cost element group for the sender. Control V. Enter. Continue. Now sender you have maintained in the group. Sender cost element also you have maintained in the group. Now receiver. Which cost centers you want this amount to be received, or which cost centers you want this amount to be settled. For the settlement, you have one cost center or multiple cost centers.
We have multiple cost centers.
So for sender also, is it
Sorry,
recommended to put?
Sender.
Yeah, for receiver, you have multiple cost center. For the receiver also, is it recommended to input cost center range, or is it recommended to give cost center group?
Group, sir, group.
It is recommended to go ahead with group only, strictly group. Even if somebody is asking you in your interview, be very clear that you will be talking about group, not individual record. If they ask why not individual record, upfront tell, tomorrow if there are any corrections, changes to the list, you will have to do the configuration if you are maintaining as a individual record. Instead, if you maintain it as a group, you can directly monitor, you can directly modify the group in the production system as part of master record, with which you will be eliminating the additional configurations required for this distribution cycle. For group, again same thing, we will be proceeding to transaction code for cost center group.
K is here H1.
K is H1, right. One sec. Okay, slash n K is H1. I'll put one more thing, distribution cycle. Instead of sender, I'll put REC, receiver, receiver cost center 1. You are free to put any code that you want. Until you understand, you can put any code that you want. For easy understanding, I'm just writing DCS distribution cycle, REC as receiver, CCS cost center 1. I'll put distribution cycle, receiver cost centers. In this, select the group, click on insert cost center, go to the cost center list. You have a range from 1 until 8. If you have a range, you can put range from 2 to. If you have random numbers, you have to select, copy paste one by one. This is from 1 to 8 in a range. I'll put range here from 1 until 8. Let me press enter. In this sequence, whatever is there, it has automatically taken. Receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Clear? Let me save this. copy this cost center group code, go to your configuration, update in the receiver cost center group, enter. Clear in this? Clear with this list? 3 groups? Any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
When we updated a group, we have to consider like a master data.
Master data, correct. And this group master data is directly edited by your end users, not by the consultant. This group is directly edited by the user. After this, you have to go to the third tab, which is your sender value. Here, this data is directly coming from this segment header. In the segment header, whatever you have given, share 100% actual value. The same data will get defaulted to the sender values, which is your third tab. Normally, we don't do anything here. This is 100% actual values. Last one, receiver tracing factor. If you click on receiver tracing factor, you will understand how this cost center group is working. In the sender receiver list, if you see, you did not mention receiver cost center. Instead of receiver cost center, we have given receiver cost center group. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Now in the receiver cost center group, this is your cost center group. In the receiver cost center group, you have cost center 1 until 8. Whatever the cost centers are updated in this group are automatically reflected in this receiver tracing factor. These are coming from your cost center group, correct? Understood the logic? Now here you need to maintain the percentage. Whatever the percentage you have, copy the percentages, go to SAP, update the percentage here. If this is not taking, you need to put one by one. 10, 5, 28, 5, 28. If I hit enter, let's see what will happen. Down below you have something called total. Let us check if system is updating total here. How much it is showing? 43. It is showing 43. What is the sender value? I think my screen is lost, is it?
Yes, sir.
One sec. Let me rejoin.
Session ID, session link, it's showing.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Now if you see the sender value, how much percentage we have mentioned as a sender share?
100%.
100%. On the receiver tracing factor, whatever the percentages you have you are updating here, this percentage should exactly match with your sender portion.
Yes, sir.
If your sender portion is 100%, you need to update
100%.
this total will become 100. Currently this is 43. I have given up to 8. After 8, 13, 30, 4, 10. I'll put 13, 30, 4, 10. 13, 30, 4 and 10. Now is this becoming 100?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You need to ensure the total percentage is becoming 100, then proceed to save this. Enter. You see this? This is coming as configuration. Press enter. Now your distribution cycle configuration has been set up. Once this is set up, just go back one level. Enter and click on save finally. Enter. Now the status of your distribution cycle is saved. Go back. Once the distribution cycle has been saved, next thing what we need to do, we need to post the expenses.
Yes,
Correct? Huh?
yes, sir. We have to post the
We have to
expenses.
post the expenses. First thing is
Expenses.
your configuration prerequisites. Next one, configuration steps. Next one,
Transaction data.
transaction data. I'll be using FB50 for this. In single screen, let me update the total transactions. After transaction data, you have reports.
Reports.
After transaction, you have reports. I'm updating horizontally. When you look at this Excel sheet, make sure you refer accordingly. FB50 is where you need to post the transaction. After that, you need to pull the report. For cost center, we have listed one report name yesterday. Where is that? This is your cost center reports. Copy. Since we are talking about cost center, you need to know the reports that are used for cost centers. KSB1, KSB1N or S underscore ALR underscore 870136111. Let me take this KSB1N. This is the new version of cost center report line item. Go to SAP, put this transaction code KSB1N and input the cost center, only the cost center, the sender cost center. Our sender cost center is this one. Copy the sender cost center, give cost center as this, change your controlling area to DEGR. Clear? Controlling area, cost center, give the posting range. We will be posting the entries in current month. Let me take the posting date of current month. I'll take the current month posting date. Let me click on execute. If I click on execute, is there any output or it is blank?
No, there is no any output.
There is no output
Yeah.
which is blank. This represents there are no postings in this cost
Postings.
center as of now. This is your first report. Second report, let me take the comparison report between actuals and plan, for which S underscore ALR 870136111. Copy this report, pull this report, give your controlling area DEGR, fiscal year 2023. We are going to post the entries in current month. According to current month, leading ledger April to March or Jan to December? Jan to December.
Jan to
According to
December.
Jan to December, June will be part of period number 6. Period
6.
number 6 to 6. And you want cost center group or cost center. We are going to post in a single cost center. Update that as cost center. If you have multiple cost centers, you can put cost center group. But if you want a single cost center, you have to put cost center,
Only
the
cost center.
respective code. I'll put this is my cost center. Let me click on execute. Currently, nothing is coming here, which means there are no postings in our cost center As a result, your cost center reports are blank. Correct? After posting the entry, we must look at this report once again to make sure this 52,500, whatever we are planning to post, will reflect here. First, what I'll do to pass the entry, I'll go to FB50. I am going to post the entry in current month. For that, let me check the company code. This is not our company code. To change company code, click on company code on the top. On the pop-up, update your company code DEIN. I'll take current date and I'll put DC cost, distribution cycle cost, GL account. Whatever the expense accounts that we had, that we have to take. Before that, cost center, let me copy, because those are at the bottom. I'll put cost center 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 GL accounts we have. I am giving cost center 6 times. And I'll go down. These are the GL accounts. Copy the GL accounts. Go to the screen. Paste the GL accounts in the GL account field. Paste GL accounts here. And these are all expenses. Expense will be debit or credit?
Debit.
Debit. Select for everything debit, 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 debit. The amount you select according to the original sheet. Yesterday we decided these are the amounts that we are going to post. I'll remove the accounting format. I'll take only the number, copy. I'll put the amount here. Text, I'll put distribution cycle, distribution cycle, distribution cycle. Now all this amount I am going to credit, let's say, to any one bank account. Want to any one outgoing GL account, let me select. This will be credit. The total amount I'll put a star so that the sum of debit will come automatically on the credit side. So it is asking for this. I should have removed the decimals, because in this system for my user the decimal separator is comma, not dot. That is why this is coming. Clear? 52,500 debit, 52,500 credit. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Now let me post this entry. Now entry has been posted. After posting the entry, anyways this is going to update in your GL account. But our focus is to perform distribution cycle. To perform distribution cycle, you have to focus more on the controlling reports. First one is your controlling line item report, which is KSB1N. KSB1N, let's come back. Earlier there was no output. I'll come back and I will run the report once again for June month. Is it showing any amount now?
Yeah, it shows
How much it is showing? 52,500.
2,500.
Now let us run this comparison report, ALR report. Earlier this was not having any amount. Let me go back. And I'll execute once again for period number 6. What is the amount showing here? 52,500.
Yes, sir.
Now the sender value, whatever we wanted to have, is achieved. You are able to see the sender cost in your cost center, 52,500.
Yes, sir.
Now let me open one more screen wherein I will open the receiver cost center. Same report, ALR underscore this one, controlling area DEGR, period number 626. Here receiver, you have one cost center or multiple cost centers.
Multiple cost centers.
We have multiple. If you have multiple, if you have created a group, it is always recommended you put the group. Otherwise, you have to put cost center range. Since we have already created the group cost center, I'll put DC RAC CC1. Correct? Is this what I've created? Distribution cycle receiver cost center 1. And let me click on execute. Let us verify if we get any amount. Is there any amount or it is blank?
Blank, sir.
Currently this is blank. Now we have to bring the value from your sender cost center to the receiver cost center by executing a distribution cycle.
Distribution cycle.
When you execute the distribution cycle, two things will have to happen. Point number one, the amount will have to get added to your receiver cost centers. Point number two, your sender cost center, whatever the value that you are currently seeing, 52,500 should become 0. You are able to see debit of 52,500 and there is no credit. You are able to see something called over under absorption as 52,500 debit balance. This over absorption or under absorption must become 0 after the settlement. Clear? Now to run the settlement, there is one transaction code. Your transaction code for settlement always ends with 5. What is your distribution cycle transaction code series?
KU. K.
Transaction code series for distribution cycle from what to what? 1 to 5. Which
KSB.
1 to which 5?
One
KS
KSB.
or KV?
KSB.
V5.
V.
KSV1 to
KS,
KSV1.
KSV5.
right? Your cycle execution is always ending with 5. Whether it is distribution cycle or it is assessment cycle, your cycle is always executed with 5. If you are talking about a distribution cycle, which is your KSV series, put KSV5, hit enter. It will ask you to input the different parameters. You are currently on execute actual distribution initial screen. Input controlling area. Make sure this is your controlling area. If this is not, go to extras on the menu bar, click on set controlling area or OKKS, update your controlling area. After this, period, in which period you want to perform the settlement, whether you want to perform the settlement for current month alone or you want to perform the settlement for cumulative periods. Let's say from period number 1 to period number 6, whatever the cost booked, I want to settle, or I want to settle only in the current period. I want to settle cost only in the current period because distribution cycle is a month end activity. Current month cost you have to settle in current month, which means June month cost you have to settle in June month only. Clear? Give the period as current period, which is a 6. Current fiscal year 2023. Always make sure your test run is enabled. Detail list is enabled. After that, your cycle name, you can at a time execute multiple cycles. Whatever the cycle that we have created is DC001. Agree? Correct? When you put this, the moment I hit enter, I am getting a message at the bottom asking us to input number range for RKIV. Can you read that message at the bottom?
Maintain number range for controlling
Maintain number range for
DEGR,
controlling
DEGR transaction
RKIV. Now in FI, to pass any entry, you need number range.
Yes, sir.
In FI, to pass any document, you need number range. Similarly, in controlling, to pass any document, CO also requires number ranges. For controlling number ranges, you will be updating based on business transaction types. Based on what? Business transactions.
Transaction type.
To maintain controlling number ranges, you have a different transaction code. Anybody know the T code for updating CO number ranges?
KPNK.
KANK.
You have to go to KANK. Open this KANK. In this, you have to maintain your controlling area first. DEGR is the controlling area. In this, click on change intervals. If you click on change intervals, it is currently telling no intervals exist. Okay, let me close this change interval, and top, let me click on something called overview. Let me click on overview. This is a little slow. Okay, now we got this screen. In this, currently, if you see, there are number ranges assigned to this, and these are all the number ranges which are not assigned. What I'll do, I'll go back. I'll click on change group. If I click on change group, these are all the number ranges that are currently visible here, but all these number ranges are under non-assigned elements, correct? These are all appearing under non-assigned element. Go back. Before you assign the number range, you have to update the number range. But how exactly we have to create number ranges for controlling? Where should I click? Should I click on this intervals? If I click on this, it is not allowing me to go inside. If I click on this overview, this is taking time, this overview option. If I click on overview, here also I am not able to create any interval. Next, if I click on this change icon, something is visible there. Let this get open, then I'll open that third icon. Okay, now this has been loaded. Here also I have no option to update the number range. What I'll do, I'll go back simply. This time I'm going to click on the third one, change group. If I go to change group, here I have an option called create group. Let me click on create group. If I click on create group, here something is appearing. What I'll put DEGR, I'll put primary postings. What is this? DEGR primary posting. I'll hit enter. Next one, I'll put number range 01. I'll put 1 all zeros to 1 all lines. Enter. I'll click on save this. What number ranges I have created now? What is this number range?
Your
Number
number.
range.
For which postings? Primary
Your
postings.
posting.
Now let me add another one. it's not allowing me to add another one. What I'll do, I'll go back, I'll click on group once again. It's asking me to create another group. I'll put one more thing, DEGR secondary postings. Here I'll put 0 to this number range. I'll create 2 to 2 all lines. Next, I'll create one more group. Here I'll put DEGR actual settlements. Here I am going to maintain number range 3. Here I'll put 3 series, 3 all zeros, 3 all lines. I'll save this number range. Next one, I am going to add another group. This group I'll maintain as DEGR plan settlements. Here I'll put 4 all zeros to 4 all lines. Save it. Okay, I'll go back. Next, let me open KANK once again. On this, let's put our controlling area DEGR. Now click on this overview. This overview, I don't know, it's taking a little time to open up. Okay, in this we are talking about some number range that you are getting an error while doing the settlement. That settlement error, whatever we got, was about what is the transaction?
RKIV.
RKIV. Now go to this. From here, do a Control F. Check RKIV if it is there. RKIV is there. Is this actual or planned RKIV?
Actuals.
This is your actual, this one. Go back. From here, if you check, do you have any option to assign? If I select this, do I get any option to assign number range from this overview screen?
No.
I don't get any option to assign from here. What I'll do, I'll go back. Now I will click on this change groups again, or I need to click on this change intervals. What I need to do?
Change group.
I'll have to click on change groups, right? When I click on change group, I have to find that RKIV here. Select RKIV. This is your actual overhead distribution. Select this. If you select this, if you do a right click, check if you find any option. You have an option called assign element to group. Option number 1, you can click on this. Option number 2, select this. Here you will find this icon called assign element to group. Correct? If you click on this, this will give you 4 options. What is this related to? Is this called settlement or what? This is your actual settlement posting or planned settlement posting or primary posting, secondary posting. What is this categorized as?
Primary.
Secondary posting, sir.
Actual
Sir,
post.
This
sorry,
is
sir. Secondary.
settlement posting. Which settlement? Actual settlement or planned settlement?
Actual settlement.
Actual.
This is your actual settlement. When you create the number range, you will be creating number range similar to this in your projects. You're not going to create one number range called controlling area number ranges. You will have primary posting, secondary posting, actual settlement, planned settlement. In short, actual cost posting, planned cost posting. This is part of your actual settlement. Select the actual settlement, click on OK. When you do this, if you go down completely, you will find that under this actual settlement, you have RKIV. When you're in any project, none of the number range should be under non-assigned. All the number ranges must be assigned between the groups that you have created. You have to split all these groups according to the nature of posting. Now this number range I have updated. Clear as CO number ranges how you have to create. 4 categories you'll have to create. Go back. Now number ranges have been updated. Let's switch back to the distribution cycle settlement rule. Enter. Number ranges are updated. Now I'm pressing enter on the screen. Okay, there are no more messages. Click on execute on the top. Make sure you're on the test run. Period is given properly. Click on execute. Let us verify what it is going to do, what results this will provide. How many senders are there?
6.
How many receivers are there?
Receivers.
48.
9,
48.
10, 40.
Here. It is giving you the count here. You see 48 here.
Yes,
Any
sir.
messages
40.
you have? Any errors, warnings? No. First of all, we will try to understand why it is showing 6 senders. What method are we using? Assessment or distribution?
Distribution.
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 Distribution. In distribution, you will get the detailed cost breakup. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
In the assessment cycle, you will get assumption cost, assumed cost or assumption. In distribution, you will get a detailed cost. In yesterday's session, somewhere we have written the calculation part. So this is your distribution. You have got the detailed cost like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is your sender cost. In short, if you look at the cost, original cost, this is the original cost. How many lines are there in original cost?
Yes.
6 lines.
Yes, sir.
Now each line will distribute separately. This will be distributed based on line item. Each line item will be distributed separately. If you have 6 line items, your senders will become 6. Since you have 6 expenses, you have got 6 senders. Correct?
Correct.
Now you are settling this 6 senders into how many cost centers? How many receiver cost centers we have?
8.
I think 8, sir. 8, sir.
8. So if 6 is sender and 8 is your cost center receiver. Now 6 into 8.
6
How much?
into 8. 48.
Now is this number matching 48?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. Now let me select sender, or before I select sender and all, let me select this cycle. I'll click on segment. In our distribution cycle, we have created only one segment. So this will display the segment. Here it is giving you 6 senders, 48 receivers, number of messages 0. Let me select or let me double click on sender. We are on the test run. Let us verify the test run. Let us verify this test run result with our manual calculated figures. To ensure the number is currently matching, only if the number is matching, we will proceed with the saving. This is a little slow. Okay, you got the sender values here. Sender now if you look at this, the values are appearing here, but the values are appearing in which currency? Dollar. This is your value in controlling area currency, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is appearing controlling area currency. It is giving you the controlling area currency as US dollar, but we are verifying all the numbers in local currency, which is INR. Correct? We are verifying the numbers in INR. Our calculations, everything was in INR. For that INR, what you have to do, let's go to this change layout on the top. Click on this layout, check if you have value in object currency or company code currency. You have controlling area currency. Let me sort this. Let's go to value. You have value in object currency. Select this value in object currency, move it here, continue. Here also, here you are able to see the INR now, your original currency.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now if I go down completely, if I do a total for this, if I add a sum to this, select this column completely, on the top click on this total or sigma symbol. How much it is showing? 0.
Yes, sir.
It is showing 0, which means this is, if you notice, there is a positive negative for the same amount. If you look at the 1600 positive, 1600 negative, correct?
Yes, sir.
1600 positive, 1600 negative. If you look at this, are we able to figure out anything for positive, for negative?
Sender cost center and receive cost center is there in the line item.
Right. If you see this partner object, DC distribution cycle, SEN sender cost center is debited, and DC distribution cycle receiver REC CC3 is credited. Now let me go back. I'll say yes. Now one level back. If I come here, let me double click on receivers only. If I double click on receiver only, am I able to check only the receiver part here? Are we able to see only the receiver, only the sender?
No,
No, we
here
can
also
see
it's
both.
showing the
Here also it is showing both sender plus receiver
both sender
together,
and
debit,
receiver
credit.
together.
Now let's go back. Do you want to exit this list? Yes, we want to exit. Double click on this segment once again. You are straight away able to see the total output. You are not able to get the detailed called receiver and the sender. Let's go back once again. Yes. Come back. Yes. So what we are able to see, we are able to see the output, but we are not able to see the detailed output of sender separately, receiver
Separately.
separately. Let's execute the test run once again. Select the cycle, click on segment. Now select this cycle. You will not be able to find sender separately, receiver separately. Let us go to tools, settings. Do you get anywhere sender, receiver separately? Alright, you don't get sender, receiver separately. What I'll do? No other option. I'll be double clicking on sender alone. It's not giving me the complete information. So what I am going to do, I am going to take this data into Excel sheet. Do a right click. You will find an option called spreadsheet. Because when you are working on the real time, your end user will be performing this activity and you will be guiding them in the first month close. If you are working on any implementation project for the first month close or for the second month close or for the first quarter close, as a FICO consultant, you have to guide them. Before they execute, actually, they have to verify the number. What they do, they download the data into Excel sheet, open the data, save, replace yes, allow permission to view the file. Now this is what you are able to see from the system. But just a minute, I need to add object currency. Let me add values in object currency. In the layout itself, I'll add some and I will remove this group currency. I don't need group currency. I need only object currency. Continue. And let me take this download. Now this is showing in INR. Let me take this download. Save, export, replace, yes. Allow. This is what the data we are able to download from the system. From here, we have to segregate what is your sender, what is your receiver. If you look at the segment name, everywhere the same segment is appearing. Cost element, everywhere you have the same cost element. Next one, object type, everywhere it is cost center because you are sending and receiving within the cost center. Object type, this is your which cost center that you are sending and receiving. From here you can easily make out this is your sender, correct?
Yes, sir.
Distribution cycle, SEN sender, CC cost center. If I put this, this is appearing how many times? 48 times. Now total of this sender is how much? 50 to 500, or let me put a total at the beginning. I'll put subtotal. Let me select the sender cost center here. If I select the sender cost center, what is the amount you are able to see on the top, the subtotal amount?
52,500.
52,500. Whenever you're looking at the amount, you have to pay attention on whether this is a positive number or a negative number. Debit balance,
It's a,
credit balance.
it's a negative number.
Negative number means debit balance or credit balance.
Credit balance.
So your sender cost center is being debited or it is being credited.
Debited.
Your sender cost center is debited or credited. Positive number is debit, negative number is credit.
Credited, sir.
Debit
This is
side.
credited. This is coming in brackets, which means it's a credit number. Okay.
So we have
Now
filter
your
receiver cost center.
now let me filter
Sender cost
on
center.
receiver cost center. If I select receiver cost center, there is a debit balance of 52,500 in the receiver cost center. Correct? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Now to understand this, let's go to the original cost center report. In your sender cost center, currently you have debit balance or credit balance.
Sender cost center credit balance.
This is your sender cost center. 52,500. What is this? This is clearly
Debit.
mentioning
Debit
here.
balance.
Debit.
Okay, your sender cost center, you have debit balance. If I filter the sender cost center here, if I filter sender cost center, it has got debit or credit?
Credit.
Credit.
Balance.
Same amount, 52,500. Now 52,500 credit and 52,500 debit. Will this become zero or it will become double?
Zero.
Become zero.
It will become zero. Now the objective of executing this distribution cycle is to make your sender cost center zero or to bring any value there.
Make it zero.
The objective of executing distribution cycle is to make sure sender cost center will become zero, receiver cost center will receive the amount. Correct?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Now I will go back to this distribution cycle settlement, come back. Do you want to exit the list? Yes. Come back once again. Do you want to exit the list? Yes. Now let us post this entries. To post the entry, make sure you remove the test run. You click on execute. Now what system will do? It will pass the accounting entry and then it will update your cost center in the sender side, cost center in the receiver side. Now you see that the processing status is update run, processing completed without errors. Now let me go to the sender cost center first. Current balance is 52,500. Now we have already done the settlement. When we refresh this report, the report should show zero balance or the balance. You
Zero
have to look
balance.
at the over under absorption amount all the time. The over under absorption should show zero. Debit is currently 52,500. It has to update the credit of same amount. Let me go back and run the report once again. If I run the report once again, it has updated the debit 52,500. It has updated the credit 52,500. Over under absorption has become nil now. There is nothing. Correct? There is no balance left in this cost center at the end of the month. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, next one, I will execute the receiver report. This is the receiver cost center report. In the receiver cost center report, when we run this earlier, there was nothing. Now your receiver cost center report must show 52,500 in all cost centers together. I am running at the group level. At group level, if you see 52,500,
Yes, sir.
correct? Now, if I look at the individual cost center, let's say if I look at the finance cost center, this is the amount of a finance cost center. For one of the cost centers, we did calculation yesterday. Let's verify that calculation, which is this. Okay. Can you figure out these amounts that we calculated yesterday with the amount that we saw now on the system?
Yes, sir.
Total 5,250,
5,250.
5,250. Driver salary 2,500. It has updated to 25, 1,500, 300, 50, 100, 800. Is it the same?
Yes, sir.
Right. In the similar way, for every cost center, according to the percentage, it will update the amount. You will get the detailed breakup in each cost center from where the amount is being debited. Now this is debited from driver salary, fuel, repairs, insurance, fine, vehicle rent. In the similar way, you will get in all the cost centers according to their portion. This is in short your cost center cost allocation according to distribution cycle. One more report that we have to execute, which is your line item report. This is the line item report before settlement 52,500 in sender cost center. Now after performing this settlement, if I run the same report, if I run the settlement after performing this, you are able to see the zero balance. Correct? Before it has got 52,500. After the settlement, it has become zero.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
if you see, the number of line items has increased a lot. Earlier, there was only 6 line items. Now, the 6 line items have become so many line items.
Yes, sir.
Right? Here is where most of the people will start creating confusions. So, right from the beginning, you have to focus on the numbers. For you to focus on the number, you should have a clear understanding on your Excel sheet or on a piece of paper. Whatever you're trying to do, take your own imaginary figures according to your requirement, according to your understanding. End of the day, your understanding matters. So the way you are able to understand, accordingly take one example, post the entries, make sure you pull the report before executing, you pull the report after executing, you are able to notice the changes, you are able to understand those changes in the system. Tomorrow, let's say I'm an user, I said that sorry, I have executed this incorrectly, we need to pass some more entries in this. My manager told me to reverse this. Now I want you to help me to reverse this. Now there are so many entries. Now you may get confused. If I reverse, what will happen? This number of entries will get doubled again if I reverse. Correct? If these are 40, when you reverse, 40 will become 80. Agree? When you reverse, what is going to happen? Number will increase or decrease?
Increase.
When you reverse, number will get increased. Now this reversal part I'll show in the next session. When you reverse, how you are going to reverse. After reversing, if you execute it again, how you are going to differentiate between this is the originally posted, after that this is reversed, now this is the original one, this is the revised one. All these things you need to ensure you are not having any confusions, you are able to distinguish between the postings, you are able to understand the postings. It's not enough if you are able to configure, if you are able to execute, that is not going to be sufficient for you to manage the distribution cycle in a project. You have to ensure you are clear, you are not understanding sorry, you are not getting confused with the numbers. You are able to understand how postings have happened, from where the numbers are coming, how the numbers are calculated and distributed. If required, make sure you are in a position to explain these postings, everything to your user or to your client. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now clear the configuration of your distribution cycle and then testing of it. If you sit and do it, this is not going to take more than 30 minutes for configuration and then testing. Once you understand, now next one when we create, we can put a timer and then do it within 30 minutes. But you need to ensure before you do it at your own, you have understood the different criteria, different points, sequences. On what basis, on what sequence you have to create. And when you create, what points you need to consider while posting, how you need to post, and what reports you will have to execute, how you need to do the test run. After test run, before you do the actual run, what numbers you have to monitor. Now this distribution cycle, will it generate any accounting entry or not?
No, sir.
Distribution cycle will generate any accounting entry or not?
No,
No,
sir.
No,
sir.
sir.
Sir,
How do you
refresh.
verify if there is any accounting entry or not? What you do, select this distribution cycle line item, whatever it is. On top, you click on source document. This is what your document. Select this. This is the entry that is posted. And what is the document number? 3 all zeros. This 3 all zeros we have used for one number range. If I go to KANK, DEGR, display group, 3 series is used for what? Actual settlements or actual posting.
Yes.
So from here you are able to see this is a controlling document. Now let me display the document from finance side. From finance side or from accounting side, what is the T code to display the document?
FB03,
FB,
sir.
FBJ3.
yes. Go to FB03. In this, click on document list on the top. From document list, we have posted the entries today. Select entry date, update current date. I have posted with my user ID, so I am going to select own document, click on execute. How many entries it is showing? What is the T code that we have used for settlement?
ASV5, sir. Second
Do you
entry.
find any document with case V5?
Second.
Second one. Let us display this document. Is this accounting document or controlling document?
Counting.
Accounting. Sir.
This is your accounting document. You are able to see the ledger 0L, leading ledger.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? If somebody is asking you, will your distribution cycle generate any accounting postings? Will it generate or not?
It will
We
generate.
will generate the
It
accounting
will
entry.
generate the accounting entry. Now, if you go to environment, document environment, if you click on accounting documents, it has generated two documents, one accounting document, one controlling document.
Yes, sir. Two accounting documents are there.
Accounting document it has generated and controlling document also it has generated. Now This accounting document, what is the document type?
Object type.
What is the document type?
CO.
CC. CO.
It is CO is the document type. Did we mention CO anywhere?
No, sir.
From where system has got?
Integration of FI with CO.
Right. Integration of FI with CO. If you go to SPRO, now all these points is what you will be questioned in your interview. Will your distribution cycle create any accounting or finance postings? If your answer is yes, what document type will be used? If your answer is CO, how system is detecting this CO document to be used? From where system is picking this CO document? Go to this global settings.
The
Where is
ledgers.
it?
Inside ledgers.
Ledgers, integration of controlling with financial accounting. You will find something called defined ledger for CO version. If you open this, there is something called this. Controlling area is DEGR. In this controlling area DEGR, did we mention 0L ledger here, but did we mention CO document type anywhere? In this setting, is there any CO document type?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. Go back. Let us verify the other one. Check and define default values for posting in controlling. Open this setting. Now, if I go to DEIN company code, what is the document type mapping variant? Sorry.
All zeros one.
Our company code is not appearing here. All zeros one is a standard. According to standard, what it will take? It will take for any CO which is integrating to your finance, which means now the data is flowing from finance to accounting or accounting to finance. What happened?
Controlling to finance.
Data has become from controlling to finance. This was the variant that was used. If you go to this, and in this you will find all the CO business transactions. What was the transaction we were using for number ranges? RK, IV,
RKIV.
IV, sir.
RKIV. This is the RKIV, so not RKIV. Here it is RKIV. Here you will find the document type as a CO.
Yes,
Correct?
sir.
Now, if you go back, now here in this check and define values for posting and controlling. Here for all your company codes we are updating document type mapping variant as 0001. In this 0001, based on the CO business transaction, we are assigning FI document type. Correct? According to this, system has picked up your CO document type. By default, even in real time, for all the CO to FI integration, we will be using document type CO for easy identification, for easy segregation. Clear? What happened with your distribution cycle?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I want you to refer this example, whatever we did once again, and I want you to create this distribution cycle in your company code. Now, since you have got a fair understanding, fair idea, when you create, make sure you will not take much time. Because you don't have to explain, you don't have to show in detail. What you do, based on your understanding, try to create within 30 minutes or 45 minutes maximum. Creation and execution must be completed maximum within 45 minutes. Clear? Alright then, let me stop this recording.
Sir, one small